Finally, it is here. UFC 329 fight week. Mcgregor versus Holloway. He's not pulled out yet. It's only Tuesday, but we have faith. We've got an incredible card from top to bottom. Obviously, the return of the Mac against Max Holloway. Great fight. Party Forhan Pimlet versus BSD. Sanhagen Bautista. Lots of high ranked matchups here. Lots of fucking underdogs. Lots of favourites on the card. Whitaker's on the prelims. We've got Gable Loophole versus Elijah Ellison. Garbrandt, Luke Riley, Tracy Cortez, Penis, Bashrat, Gandra, Costa. This card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. In this video, I'm going to go through every fight on the card, give my predictions as to who I think will win each fight. Let's get straight into it. First fight, Alessandro Costa versus Cody Durden. And I'm going to go with Alessandro Costa, the favourite here. Let's not forget, Durden was going to be cut if he didn't step in and beat Jafel Filio. I did think he was going to lose that. But Durden's a good grappler. Costa is a bit sus defensively, grappling-wise. But trains with Lopez, got some good jiu-jitsu. Very powerful on the feet. Durden doesn't have good success against high volume, high output strikers that are powerful and can put him out. And I do think Costa will knock him out here. May have a dodgy first round. Durden's probably going to come out with a very higher grappling pace against Costa, try and take him down, dominate him, submit him. That's Durden's game. But I don't think you can do that to Costa. Costa's showing improvement after improvement in every fight. Trains with Diego Lopez, great teammate. And I think he will find the shot. Looks good against Nickel and who did he beat last time? Matt Schnell, but come on now, it's Matt Schnell. But he's very powerful, and I think he will put Cody Durden out. A very good fight to start the card. I'm going to go with Costa. Like, if Durden's going to win, he's going to smudge him or submit him. Durden's striking's a bit sus, but he did look good against Jafel Filio. But, Jafel Filio is a bit of a fraud, I did think he'd beat him. Durden proved me wrong, but before that, let's not forget he was on a 4-fight losing streak. Getting outstruck, taken down. I think Costa will find the shot to put him out. I'm going to go with Alessandro Costa. Next up, Ryan Gandra versus Zachary Reese. This is a weird fight because we haven't seen much of Gandra. He knocked out Jose Medina in 40 seconds. Zachary Reese took him 3 rounds. But I'm going to go with Gandra. I think he's going to put Reese out early. Like, he fights like a big Diego Lopez. Maybe that's a bit harsh. He just brawls in the pocket. And I think if Reese engages with him in the pocket, he's going to put him out. For Reese to win, he's got to stay at range, use the kicks, take him down. He's got some good grappling, Zachary Reese. We don't know much about Gandra. That is a good thing and a bad thing. For Reese, there's not much tape to study. But that's a good thing because then he doesn't know Gandra's full game. Gandra's very powerful, smaller guy. Reese is a bit chinny at middleweight, cuts a lot of weight. I did think he was robbed against Mikael Pereira last time. But Reese, he's kind of just mid everywhere. He's not got Gandra's probably got more power. We don't know about his grappling, but I think he's going to put Zachary Reese out. He could get taken down for the first round, but I think he's going to back him up and knock him out eventually. A risky pick as we don't know a lot about Gandra. Only Jose Medina. I mean, everyone's beating Jose Medina. That's why he got cut. But I'm going to go with Gandra to knock Reese out. He does train at Extreme Couture. They have good game plans. He could, submit Gandra. But I don't think Reese is, if we look at his wins, he's a bit of a fraud. He's only beaten Jose Medina, Marquez, not very UFC caliber guys. And Gandra looks to be UFC caliber. If you're sliming out these cans in 40 seconds, you're a solid guy in the UFC. And I do think he will lose to Ryan Gandra here. I'm going with Gandra to knock Reese out. Could be, it could get taken down and submitted, but I trust in Gandra. Next up, Bashrat versus John Garza. Short notice replacement. Is it going to load? Hello? Apparently not. Anyway, John Garza. Where's Natan Levy when you need him? That's not funny. That's not funny. Fuck the IDF. But I'm going to go with Bashrat. Garza, I've seen a couple of his clips. He's a high output striker. But Bashrat's solid. He's very boring. But I think he'll take Garza down here. Try and submit him. But again, Bashrat's kind of under pressure. He's got to probably get a finish here. Because they're probably not going to cut him. But people see him as a boring guy. Doesn't get many finishes. He had a good fight last time against Masamuto. But he's kind of a boring guy. He doesn't really do much. That's why, he's undefeated and ranked. No one talks about him unless you're a Bashrat fan, which there's not many. But I do think he beats Garza here. I don't think they're the odds. That was the odds for the Ethan Ewing fight. That's probably why it doesn't load, because they haven't updated it. I do think he wins the first 2 rounds, taking him down, outstriking him. Garza probably has a late storm, and Bashrat wins a 29-28 or gets an early finish. But Bashrat isn't that type of guy. He's just a bit defensively sound. True Englishman, Farid Bashrat. And I do think he beats John Garza here. Nothing special though. It's disappointing we didn't see the Ethan Ewing fight. Bashrat's just solid everywhere. He's got a good chin, unlike his brother. And I think he'll mix in the grappling here. and win a decision against John Garza. Next up is Damon Penis. Penis, very funny. The penis jokes are so funny still. They kind of are. Let's not be a fucking Grinch. Against Cesar Almeida. This is a good fight, a real test, a very big early test. This is a better win than any other typical TS. I really like Cesar Almeida here. Very good fighter, very good kickboxer. To beat Cesar Almeida, you've got to smudge him like Cesar Alexandriuk did, and Kopylov. He made Kopylov turn into a grappler, and Kopylov's a good striker. Almeida's got a very good kickboxing background. However, the sport of MMA is very cruel. It's a young man's sport. Damon Pinas has more pop than Cesar Almeida. Almeida's probably a better technical kickboxer. Just look at Kat Horiguchi. I think Pinas knocks him out early, round 1, round 2. But I think Cesar Almeida beats him up. Backs him up. Kind of like, what's the fucking fight? Tom Nolan versus Susakayev, where Nolan's dominating Susakayev, then Susakayev finishes him. Damon Pinas has a high finishing ability. Very powerful. However, just like Gandra, we haven't seen it. He knocked out Wes Schultz, which isn't impressive. I know he's got a win, but that was against someone even worse than him. Just an Australian Wes Schultz. Very good prospect, Damon Pinas. A lot of power. I do believe he will beat Cesar Almeida. This is a big test for him. I'm surprised they're giving him guys like this. I thought they'd give him some more cans, like a Brundage, Petrosky, guys like that. They've jumped him straight in there. This is a legit fighter here, Cesar Almeida. Very powerful. However, he is defensively sus. Abdul Razak Al Hassan was piecing him up on the back foot before he got the KO. And I think Pinas is a bit more defensively sound, but I think Almeida will back him up. Almeida's not going to be scared of Pinas. I can't take the guy seriously because of his name, but he's a very good fighter, and I think he will find the chin of Almeida, knock him out. He'll have some problems early. I mean, both guys, you've got to be a good grappler to beat both these guys, and neither of them are. It'll be a stand-up fight, I'm assuming. Almeida's defensive grappling's improved, but his offensive grappling isn't that good. We don't know about Pinas' grappling. Pinas, stop saying, Damon, I'll call him Damien. Damien's offensive grappling, we didn't see it because Wes Schultz is a good grappler. You could try and take down Almeida. That would be a smart game plan, but I think he's going to stand with him. He'll knock him out and beat Almeida. A very good prospect, very good win if he gets to see it. A tough test. Don't be surprised if Almeida pieces him up for 3 rounds, but I think Pinas will find the chin. Damon Pinas will find the chin and put Almeida out. Next up, headline in the early prelims, is a very, very good WMMA fight. Tracy Cortez against Wang Kong. I'm going to go with Wang Kong. It's a very risky pick. She is the favourite. I know there's a pick'em's fight, slight favourite. But Cortez is a grappler, Wang Kong's a striker. You know how it goes. Cortez is going to try and take her down. Wang Kong's going to try and stand up and knock her out. And I think Wang Kong will win a decision here. I don't think she's going to knock her out. I think she'll have a good round 2 and 3. Cortez will probably lay on her for a round. That's what Cortez does. She's not really got pop. She's got no pop on the feet. Very low output. Not a good striker at all. Just got bitched by Blanchfield and outstruck by Nama. So she's been dominating in every aspect of MMA. Up at the top of the division, she got the jump up against Namajunas, outstruck. Got the jump up against Blanchfield, got dominated on the ground. Her bread and butter. And that's a very British saying. I'm going to go with Wang Kong. Risky because what's her name? Mora. I can't remember if Eduardo Mora took her down in the second round for the whole round, and Cortez probably could do that to her for 3 rounds. It's Cortez's head in the game, she's with Alex Pereira, she's very social media orientated, whereas Wang Kong, true Chinese style, very strict, very disciplined, just goes to China and just trains. She might even train in Thailand, actually. I'm not going to assume. I don't know Wang Kong's daily routine. But I think she will beat Tracy Cortez, much better striker. Will have probably, all she'd been doing in the training camp is defending takedowns. That's what Cortez does. She she backs you up, tries to take her down. That's all Cortez's game is, whereas Wang Kong's a very good striker, mixes it up, good kicks, head, body, low kicks. Low kicks will be good here. Cortez has got some big legs. That's all that's big on her, obviously. But I think she'll win here. A risky pick, as Cortez very well could lie on her, even submit her. But Wang Kong's only loss is against Gabriela Fernandez, where she was taunting and being cocky. And it was kind of a fluke, She beats Gabriela Fernandez if they fight again, Casey O'Neill just knocked her out. I'm going to go Wang Kong. Risky pick. By decision, I think she'll piece her up for 2 rounds. Cortez very well could lie on her for 3 rounds, but I trust in Wang Kong. On to prelims now, opening them up. We've got Luke Riley against Kai Kamaka. 3. Why is Luke Riley fighting 3 people? That is not fair. However, you could be 5 of Kai Kamaka's and Luke Riley will still win. He's going to knock out Kai Kamaka or win a decision like he did against Michael Aswell. Luke Riley is a legit prospect, very good striker, and to beat Luke Riley, people have said it time and time again, you've got to take him down and submit him or just hold him down like Bogdan Grad did in that first round, and I don't think Kai Kamaka can do that. However, Extreme Couture, good gym, probably have a heavy grappling game plan, just like Zachary Reese. However, you can have all the game plan in the world. If you've got the ability to execute it, I don't think he does. Luke Riley, much better striker, can stay at range, chop the leg of Kai Kamaka. Very powerful. See him did to Bogdan Grad. Michael as well. I was impressed with that performance. Not to sound like GSP, I was impressed with that performance. But that was awful. Well, but Luke Riley will piece up Kai Kamaka and knock him out late. Kai Kamaka will probably get a bit, rushing into the pocket. Try and, he'll be down 2 rounds trying to knock Riley. I think Riley gets a late KO here, gets like urgent. Yeah, Luke Riley, like I said, it is boring. I say it time and time again. Until he fights a good grappler or an elite striker, I can't pick a guy to beat him, and I'm gonna pick him to beat Kai Kamaka. Very simple. Don't overthink it. Luke Riley will knock out Kai Kamaka late here and continue the win streak, undefeated. Big name in the UK scene. Obviously trains with Paddy. What the fuck am I doing with my Scouse accent? Trains with Paddy. Big name, and I think the unbeaten streak and the hype continues. Moving on to Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. A solid fight here, and I'm going to go with the big favourite, Adrian Yanez. Current day Cody Garbrandt is dog shit. He'll only beat bottom of the barrel fighters, and he didn't even really do that against Xiao Long. Xiao Long got robbed by Cody Garbrandt before the low blows. Even with after the low blows, Xiao Long was still up, piecing him up. Cody Garbrandt modern day is not good. The 25 minutes of Cody Garbrandt myth is a myth. That is no longer him. Prime Garbrandt was solid. Current Garbrandt is dog shit. Can't grapple really, but Yanez is going to keep you on the feet, piece him up. I like Yanez's low kicks, robbed brutally again. Justice will be served here. Yanez got robbed against Ricky Simone. Garbrandt robbed Xiao Long. Yanez is going to beat and redeem his robbery, and Garbrandt will not get a robbery win. However, Garbrandt is good in the pocket. Yanez, if he crashes into the pocket, Garbrandt could catch him. He's still got that power. It's just the fact he can't set it up. He's very low output nowadays, looking for the big shots. Very well could get it on Yanez. He's been knocked out before, but I think Yanez is a slicker striker, higher output, will win the decision here against Cody Garbrandt. Neither guys have good enough grappling to weaken the other. That's kind of there been their weaknesses in the top of the division. Ricky Simone held Yanez down. Garbrandt's been submitted multiple times. But I'm going to go Yanez to piece up Cody Garbrandt here. Modern day Garbrandt, he's a big name, but he's not a good fighter. It's a big layout for Yanez, I think. Moving on. Wow, wow, wow. Gable Loophole Grapeson versus Elijah Ellison. Sadly, Gable Stevenson, I'll call him his real name. I'll give him the respect that he doesn't deserve. Will beat Elijah Ellison here. He's not 0-0, he's 3-0, I think. Obviously, we've all seen the clip of him eating that spinning back kick, but Elijah Ellison is dog shit. Gable Stevenson will smoke Elijah Ellison. I mean, I'm assuming. I hope he doesn't. It'd be funny, but I think it's going to take someone semi-decent to beat him. Elijah Ellison, he may be 236 and not fat as fuck, but he's still a blob. He just trudges around. Against Brando Perecic, not a bad loss. Brando Perecic's elite, very good fighter. He just shot a sloppy takedown like Almeida versus Blaze and just elbows to the back of the head. I think Gable Stevenson knocks him out in the first round. He's very fast. I'll give him that. He's fast. He's good at running away from the police as well. Very fast guy on the feet. He'll knock him out. This is like Bo Nichols, Val Woodburn fight. He's just going to land a nasty overhand. He's got the speed advantage, and it will take a solid heavyweight to beat Gable Stevenson probably. Put him Louis Sutherland. Louis Sutherland will fuck up this rapist. Trust me. Gable Stevenson will beat Elijah Ellison, sadly. Next, headline in the prelims, and it's a bit controversial. Why is Bobby Knuckles on the prelims ahead of a couple of YNs? But I'm going to go with Robert Whittaker here. It's a risky pick, as he's on the downward spiral, washed, moving up, new weight class. He's not fought at 205. He's not exactly a big middleweight, but I don't really think Nikita Krylov is all that. Modern day Krylov is not all that. Doesn't have the grappling really to mess up Robert Whittaker. His last 2 fights, Chimaev and RDR. How did they beat him? They took him down on the feet. Whittaker was beating up RDR, and apart from the body knee that sat him down, just spat on my chin. With Chimaev, he just smudged him in the first minute. Krylov can't do that to Whittaker. Well, I'm assuming Krylov isn't Chimaev. I think maybe the size will help Whittaker against Krylov. He's a big guy. Whittaker likes to stay at range, uses kicks. I think he'll use his kicks well here. The 1-2 head kick, his bread and butter here, will work against Krylov. I think he wins the decision. I don't think he's going to knock him out. Krylov is defensively sound. Actually, is he though? Modern day, Dominic Reyes just crashing into the pocket. Guskov, took that too early after the Reyes loss. I think Whitaker wins the decision here. Against Bakauskas, Krylov looked very mid. No, Bakauskas is mid, he just stays at range. He only got the knockout because Bakauskas crashed in like a dumbass, looking for the finish after being, pieced up at range. That very well could happen here. Krylov could just use his jab and his low kick and beat up Whitaker. But no one has really beaten Whitaker on the feet since his Adesanya loss. He's looked very good in the middleweight division. Moving up, the lighter man's skill will come into play here. And I think he wins a decision here against Krylov. It is a risky pick, but he's the underdog, yeah. Maybe that's fair, but Krylov isn't exactly. This is a favourable matchup for Whitaker. If they'd have given him an Uzdemir or a Jamal Hill, someone like that, obviously he's a heavyweight now, but a decent heavyweight, I would have probably picked him. But I think Whitaker can beat a Krylov here. I'm just worried about the jab of. How boring does that sound? I'm worried about the jab of Krylov and the kicks because he's smaller. Not really the big grappling threat. I think Whitaker can piece him up at range and win a decision. On now to the main card. King Green, Robert Green, whatever you want to call him. He's on a good fucking run at the moment against Terence McKinney. No shock, this will probably be over in the first round. But they all said that about Reyes and Walker, and that went five rounds, 3 rounds. But I don't think that's going to happen here. McKinney is a kill or be killed guy. And I think he'll be killed, not literally. I can't YouTube. I'm not putting death threats to Terence McKinney. I think King Green will knock out McKinney in the first round, and I just don't rate Terence McKinney. I've made TikToks about it, tweets about it. I don't rate Terence McKinney. Look who he's beating: Kyle Nelson, Tordovich, whatever that guy's name is, Borchev, um, Hazdovic, and when he fights anyone good, Ribovic, Duncan, he's exposed because he has no defense. He's gonna go forward, like throws a head kick heavy, 1-2 down the middle, like he did against is it Nolan? No, Nelson. And Nelson just quit. He didn't even knock him out. He landed a high kick. Nelson just curled up into a ball. True Canadian warrior. Carl Nelson. And let's be honest, who's he beaten that's good to be scared for a King Green? We'll know his style. There's plenty of tape to watch for King Green. I think he's gonna, what does worry me though is his hands are down, like he's standing there. That is pretty much how he fights. He has his hands down, talks a lot of shit. But I think he'll counter Terence McKinney just like Duncan did. He's gonna have to take one to give one, and I do think the chin isn't as bad as we deem for King Green. He's taken a lot of damage, 17 losses, but I think the chin's still solid. I'm worried though. It's McKinney. People say, "Oh, McKinney, first round McKinney, man, it could be Khabib, bro." I don't think that. Like Chris Duncan proved it. I know Chris Duncan's a warrior and has got a solid chin. McKinney doesn't move his head. You know, King Green, very good striker himself against guys like this. I I've just said he beats Cans McKinney. So does King Green, but this is like a true competitive matchup here. There's a bit of beef as well. See John Anik's tweet. King Green was like, "We don't fight each other." She man, we don't fight each other, man. He's going to show him. He's going to style on him. Unk v. McKinney's pretty young, yeah. Unk v. Yunk in the UFC. He's pretty much he's like Kevin Holland. He's been around for a long time. I think King Green knocks him out in the first round. Like I said, McKinney's got no chin. He's going to go either way. I am going with the King Green way. Next up, oh my days, Lona Kavanagh. What a guy. I'm going with Lona Kavanagh to beat Brandon Royval, not just because I'm from England. Lona Kavanagh's a better striker than Brandon Royval. Defensively, we still have some questions about Kavanagh. The Charles Johnson, that guy. Charles Johnson, what a guy. Did take his O, we have to respect that. But Kavanagh was winning that fight. I've said it many times. Charles Johnson fans still die on that hill. We had to talk about Royval. Royval can't hang with the new guard. I know he's not fought Kavanagh yet. Manel Cap knocked him out, but Manel Cap's just got that plot armor, that titty guy, roid power. Joshua Van dropped him. Was beating Joshua Van. That is what worries me. Royval's a big guy, presses forward in the pocket. However, I like the kicks of Lona Kavanagh. Joshua Van doesn't really have a kicking game. That to back Royval up, Manel Cap just backed Royval up and just put him down with a 1-2 against the cage. Kavanagh's not that type of guy. He beds into fights. He doesn't have that one-shot power, really. But I think he's going to style on Royval, win a late decision. The chin is questionable. Kavanagh's a very good striker, mixes up the shots well. That will make Royval hesitant. I'm worried though about the defense. When he lost to Charles Johnson, the hands were down. So make sure the hands are up, please, Lona. Yeah. And I'm going with Kavanagh to beat Royval. And neither guy have grappling to mix in here. Kavanagh showed his good defensive grappling. So did Royval against Tyra, but Tyra's not got the striking. Kavanagh's got the striking. Moreno just pieced up Moreno. Altitude, all the altitude like England, Mexico. About the football, I know it's UFC. Moreno tried to take him down for the last 3 rounds. Kavanagh just defended all the takedowns. Royval has had grappling weaknesses in the past and looked better. I don't think there'll be any takedowns here. This will be a stand-up fight. I think Kavanagh gets it done. Late KO. The chin of Royval's gone. Kavanagh's got more pop, mixes up the strikes better, and it'll make Royval respect him. With the kicks, he's got a nice little question mark kick, side kick, and I like Royval. I respect Royval, but he can't hang with the modern guys, and that's no disrespect. That's nothing bad. He's still a legit guy. But the guys like Kavanagh, Cap, Van are going to beat him, and I do think Kavanagh. Take away the UK bias, gives Joshua Van a serious run for his money, and I'm going with Kavanagh to beat Brandon Royval. Next up, and such a good fight. This card is so good. Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. A very, very good fight. I've been 50-50 ever since it got announced. I'm fine. I'm going to lock in my pick now. I'm going with Mario Bautista. Corey Sandhagen is a rightful favourite. Is he? Yeah, minus 145. Only losing to the top guys, Marab and Yan. Fair play. But if you look at the way he's losing, he's being backed up. Umar as well, being backed up, taken down. What is Mario Bautista's game? Pressure, put the guy on the back foot, take him down. Had a better performance against Umar than Sandhagen, dropped Umar with that knee. Could even do that to Sandhagen. The threat of the takedown allows for the striking to be more present, That's fucking obvious. But I'm going to go with Bautista. I just think his pressure is going to be too much for Sandhagen. Does train with, what's the fucking guy's name? Gaethje's coach, Trevor Whitman. Crafty game plan. He's a very technical striker, stays at range, that low kick, he downloads the data like Piotr Jan. But I think it's going to be too much here. It's a 3-rounder that probably favours Bautista. However, round 1 against Marab, that is the blueprint to beat Marab, and a guy like Bautista stayed at range, low kicks, the jabs, the takedown defense was solid. However, as the fight goes on, Bautista and Marab got the takedowns on him. I think Bautista can do the same. It is likely, he could get a step-in knee KO, a flying knee like he did to Frankie Edgar here, as Bautista crashes in. But I just want to say, this is maybe a hot take. I think Vinicius Oliveira is a more dangerous striker early than Sandhagen is. And if Bautista can crash into the pocket against Oliveira and eat his shots, I think he can eat Sandhagen's best shot here. Bautista's got a solid chin. Don't really see him get dropped. I think he's been KO'd once before. That was years ago. I know Sandhagen's beaten him before as well. But I don't like the output of Sandhagen. In a 3-round fight, that's gonna pay, especially if Bautista can get the takedowns on him. I think he's gonna get him down, win a decision, maybe even submit Sandhagen. I like the pace of Bautista. It's such a risky pick because Sandhagen's a good grappler himself. All depends if Bautista can get the takedowns, and I think he can, and I think he will take Sandhagen down and win a decision. A very, very good fight. Sandhagen's legit. Both guys are legit. But I think Bautista's pressure is going to be too much for Sandhagen. Takedowns are great. He's looking in better every fight. Up and coming. I know they've fought before, but I'm going to go with Bautista to beat Sandhagen. Very, very risky. On to the co-main event. Paddy the fucking Buddy versus BSD. I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. No UK bias at all. I think he's a better fighter than BSD. BSD, he's autistic. So is Pimblett, but Paddy Pimblett is calmer than BSD. BSD fights at 100%, which works. But, when you get countered and you get knocked out by Poirier, etc., and, Moicano takes you down, then you're stuck on the bottom. We've never seen Pimblett that happen to him. Gaethje's pieced him up on the feet. That's Justin Gaethje. Gaethje would knock out Belmont Saint Denis as well. I like Pimblett here. BSD, if he goes for a grappling approach, his takedown entries are awful. Leaves his chin, his neck right there for the taking. Pimblett could lock up a guillotine. I don't think he's going to shoot like that. If he looks to the takedown, probably a trip up against the cage. A lot of clinch in the cage here. Probably I can see in this fight. But I think Pimblett will end up on top if it goes to the ground with some ground and pound like he did against Chandler. And also, Pimblett's defense against Michael Chandler. I know it's Michael Chandler, but Chandler's got good takedowns, not good holding you there. Pimblett got straight back up every time. Who's BSD beaten since he got 4-checked by Moicano? 4-checked Rufi, which was impressive, but Rufi couldn't had 0 grappling at the time. Pimblett's a good grappler, and Rufi was beating him on the feet. Dariush, he's got no chin. Carl Prepelec, come on now. And just beat Dan Hooker, who can't grapple himself. If BSD fights like he did against Dan Hooker, Pimblett will submit him. Or take top control and ground and pound him like he did to Moicano. If it's on the feet, Pimblett will pop him off with a jab. I am worried if BSD crashes in up against the cage, he throws some nasty overhand. But Scousers don't get knocked out, lad. Uh, that is so cringe. I don't like that. But yeah, I'm going with Paddy. I think he's calmer under pressure. It's a 3 round fight, which probably favours BSD, but it allows for both guys to go 100%. Pimlet's got great cardio, went 5 hard rounds with Gaethje, getting beaten up. BSD tends to slow down, even when he's winning. So Pimlet can take a shot, and you've got to knock him out or submit him. I don't think BSD can submit Pimlet. Pimlet's takedowns aren't good, but his ground control is when he's on the ground. Yeah, the transitions are good. Yeah, if he tries to take him down, Pimlet could sweep to the back, submit him off his back. He's got great jiu-jitsu. The wrestling's not good, but I'm going with Pimlet here. He's an underdog. I know I'm English. I picked every English guy on the card, but I do believe Pimlet's better than BSD. Gonna pop him off with the jab. The dirty staff war criminal will lose to the fucking Scouser lad. On to the main event. Conor McGregor, the return of the Mac, return of the Grapist, versus Mystic Max Holloway, as he's been calling himself. I'm going with Max Holloway to beat Conor McGregor here. I can only see McGregor winning in the first round, but it's at 170. The chin of Max Holloway won't be as dodgy as it was against at 145. I don't even think Max will cut much weight. He probably walks around about 180. McGregor's probably about the same. McGregor's 5'9". Holloway's bigger. I like Max Holloway here. His style is perfect for McGregor. McGregor's going to crash in the pocket, look to knock him out early. Max Holloway is a great counter striker, stays at range, very smart, turns it on when needed. I think he'll have a slow approach to the first round, stay at range with the low kicks like he did against Gaethje, teeps to the body, jab down the middle. He's a volume striker, but at 170 he'll have more pop on the shots. I'm worried though early. McGregor could back him up, knock him out, but even when McGregor was back against Poirier, he did not look that good, really. In the pocket, he was okay, stunning Poirier. But as soon as Poirier backed him up, he chinned him twice. I don't like McGregor here. The low kicks of Holloway are very good. When you've got a metal rod in your leg, the footwork's going to be even worse. That was McGregor's game, the footwork. At 170, both guys are going to be a bit bigger. So the weight obviously favours McGregor, as Holloway will be loose. Holloway's ideal weight probably is about 165, 160, not 155. That's probably a bit too much weight. But 170 is as he says, it's a new game in this 14 weight class me. But I don't think that's going to make a difference. Holloway, round 2, round 3 TKO, piecing McGregor up. I did say that about Oliveira though. But McGregor could mix in the takedowns. We saw the first fight. But I think Max Holloway he's a good defensive grappler, unless it's an Oliveira. McGregor isn't Oliveira. He's not got the trips, the slams like a Holloway. So this will be on the feet. I'm assuming Holloway's not going to mix in the grappling. Who knows? Early wouldn't be a bad idea. McGregor wouldn't expect it, but I'm sticking with my original thoughts. I'm going with Holloway to knock out McGregor. Round 2, round 3. All the hype, all the shit talk. McGregor can't really talk with all that shit. He's got nothing to really say to Holloway. Holloway's kind of autistic as well, a bit CTE ridden. He's not really going to give a shit what McGregor says. And it's not like Holloway's got nothing he can really go after. It's not like Khabib, Nate Diaz. Holloway just sits there, I'll find out today night. That's all he does. He's not going to engage in the trash talk. He doesn't get, he did against Volk, to be fair, but that had a reason, he lost 2 fights, he got robbed in the second. There's no bad blood here. He did lose, but I don't think Max cares. That was when he was 21. Obviously he cares, but you know what I mean. It's not like he lost 2 years ago. He's going to stay calm early, chop the low kick, volume, jab, 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 the body kick, that spinning back he hit Gaethje with, that could be live here to use. However, if he backs him up and knocks him out, that would be incredible for the sport. The biggest name. But I don't really want McGregor to win because he's a big name, but he's not the best fighter right now. He's a big name. He's a superstar. But they're probably going to give him a title fight if he knocks out Max Holloway. That would mean they'd fuck over at 170. Who's McGregor? Actually, McGregor Makachev, I don't mind. If they give him like the McGregor Gaethje, I don't really want to see it. He's 38. He's got no future in the sport if he wins. He's going to have 1 or 2 more. He's already got the legacy in the sport. He wants to get it back. I don't see it happening. I'm going with Holloway to knock out McGregor. Round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, even win a decision. I think McGregor's live early. If you're going to bet on McGregor, it's got to be an early knockout. That's what he's done his whole career. He's never really gone late. But Holloway, neither guys have got the grappling pressure to wear them out. That's usually what their weaknesses are. Obviously, Holloway's weakness is to grappling, and we also his last fight, and McGregor against Khabib, etc. It's going to be a striking battle. I think Holloway gets the better of him. Drowns McGregor, typical Max Holloway style. Yeah, that's my thoughts. What do you guys think? This is an incredible card. I'm going with Max Holloway, Party the Forehand Body, Bautista, Kavanagh, King Green, Robert Whittaker, Grapeson, Yanez, Luke Riley, Wang Kong, Damon Penis, Farid Bashrat, Ryan Gandra, Alessandro Costa. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like, subscribe, drop a comment, all that good stuff. Goodbye.